Creating a random order audio track is simple. To get started, you just need three things. Your handy-dandy digital audio workstation, which could be Pro Tools, Ableton, GarageBand, Reason, Cakewalk, Logic, FL Studio, just to name a few. And your digital audio workstation must be able to bounce files into the WAV file format, as this is currently the only file format our encoder will accept. Some audio. As usual, our examples will be of musical compositions, but any type of audio will do, whether it's comedy, spoken word, teaching languages, anything. And lastly, you will need our encoder, which is a simple piece of software that we've created that lets you take individual files you bounce into WAV and organize them to play in a designated order with options in each section. Now, you could simply have lots of variations that are just different mixes of the same song, but in the instances that the artist wants to do a little more with their song composition, I'm going to run you through an extremely basic session, and we're just going to stick with an intro that would move into a verse to swiftly explain bouncing. Now, I have my original intro in this section here between my markers, along with extended versions for certain tracks back before that. In a simple situation, I could bounce my original intro, which starts here and ends where verse 1 begins, and that would be one variation of my intro. Then, I could bounce my extended drums intro, which is a little longer in duration and starts up here, but I, as the artist, do not want the extended guitar and vocal leads to be a part of this, so we'll say I mute those tracks until they play again in the original intro. That's a second variation. Then we bounce the guitar in this same manner by muting the others for a third variation, and lastly, we bounce the extended vocal lead intro. But I want 4 types of vocal lead intros. One, where I mute the other 2, leaving only the vocal lead to play up until the original intro begins. One where the vocal lead plays along with the extended guitar lead when it arrives. Same with the drums. And then a final version where all 3 will be playing as they come up, for a total of 7 possible intros so far. Now, let's do it with and without vocal harmonies. So we would have 2 versions for each variation we just did, and that would leave us with 14 options for the intro. You do the same thing with every other section, verse, chorus, etc. With each of their options, plug these individually bounced sections into our encoder, and you'd be done. So what exactly is the encoder? It's just a simple piece of software that pieces together your individual audio tracks and allows each song to be played in a predetermined yet random order. Predetermined meaning it starts the way you had it, and the intro goes into the verse, and doesn't just randomly start with the outro, if the artist didn't want it to. And then lets you set up what kind of random options are in each section, like I have done with my intro. Really pretty simple, and shouldn't take longer than a few minutes if the artist has explained and written out how they want it, and if you've properly named your audio tracks. You will place all of your audio tracks into our encoding software, tell the encoder how you want these files pieced together, and it will output this as an ROA file with the final compression method being OGG or FLAC, depending on what you've designated in the encoder. And if you're not familiar with OGG, it's easily comparable to MP3, and if you're interested in hearing this, all of the songs currently on our website are compressed to OGG. FLAC, on the other hand, is a lossless method which we would recommend you use for backing up your ROA files and encoding projects, or if the artist or fans request high-quality audio. Shoot us an email if you're looking to produce ROA tracks, and we can get you set up with an encoder and have a quick demonstration for you on how to utilize its features. Once ROA moves far enough along, I will be contacting companies who create audio production software, much like Avid Audio, formerly DigiDesign, is for Pro Tools. And my plan is to work something out so that we can make this process smoother and simpler. Things like a bouncing cue and even an advanced cue so that you can set up mixes for each bounce in the cue and then being able to output right into our format. Thank you very much for watching and taking an interest in our format. I hope this video has been enlightening and didn't leave you with more questions than when you arrived, but if you're looking for a little better understanding and my previous example didn't work that well for you, or if you have any questions at all, be sure to email us. Random Order Audio, a new age of options.